Hi, I am Pavel Kolev from Rebellious Software Studio from Bulgaria. I'm the CEO of the company. We are 10 people now, and we are working on a game called World of Myths.
So we spoke to you guys like almost 12 months ago to the date. Talk about the development for these last 12 months with your game. What's been happening with it?
Well, we have changed a lot of visuals about the game. We have added tons of content. We have raised money for our company, so we were able to grow our team. And basically, we are now close to our early access, which will be in May.
So it's always fun to see the game come to its final steps because you get all the fancy visual effects and the artwork in there. Finally, instead of using placeholder work and not seeing effects and something happens, seeing all that stuff come together is really fun to see.
Yeah, and you have seen it last year, and your first reaction was, whoa, you have improved, and yes, we did.
So for people who don't know what this game's all about, kind of talk about the difference between this card game and other card games out there.
Yeah, so the main difference is the battle mechanics are completely different. It might look like Hearthstone, and this is the first reaction that we get. It's Hearthstone, and after 2 minutes of play, everyone is, whoa, this is totally not Hearthstone. So basically how it works is your units, they attack your opponent's tempo. You need to destroy your opponent's tempo to win the game. You can choose multiple units to attack, and they attack as a team, not individually, but as a team. And then your opponent can block your attack, and he can choose multiple defenders, and they again defend as a team. So you basically choose attackers, choose which tempo you want to attack, then your opponent choose defenders and block your attack. And that's it. The units don't fight each other, they don't have health points, they only have attack.
So it's all about choosing which resources you use to defend. It's like resource management, essentially, with your units and cards.
Yeah, and they have effects. And yeah, in a way you can say that, but yeah, it feels like a card game. It is a card game, so.
What are some of the challenges when making a card game in 2018 and 19?
Well, make it different, make it not a Hearthstone ripoff, and keep it fun and dynamic. The dynamic part was the hardest one, and I think it's a challenge for all other developers that are working on card games.
How many different cards do you have in your base set?
Well, currently we have 230 cards with 3 mythologies, and each mythology has different leaders, so the leaders are like classes in Hearthstone. So you have a total of 12 different leaders that you can play with, and we hope that we will have 8 mythologies in total during the early access, so it will be a huge pool of things that you can play basically.
Are there certain cards only certain leaders can use from like certain mythologies?
Currently we don't have that limitation, but yeah, I cannot promise that it will stay for the rest. Yeah, but for now there are no limitations for leader, like this card can be only played with that leader. Yeah.
So talk about the mythologies in your game. You have Greek, Nordic, Japanese, you have a bunch of different Egyptian. What does that open up for you creatively?
Well, a lot. One thing we try to do is stick to the natural feeling about that mythology. So, for example, when you hear Norse, you think about Vikings riding and killing things. So this is in the game. The mechanics of the Norse mythology is you attack with multiple units, powerful units, but they're not like good in tricky effects and things like that. So we try to move that feeling into the game, and it works good for now.
So talk about you have over 200 cards in your base set.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cards. What are some of the challenges when trying to balance the game with so many cards?
Yeah, it's funny. It's challenging. What we do is actually we have local tournaments with different groups of players, like pro card game players and 50 years old ladies that come and play. And it's really nice to see them play the game and find different cards. And basically, for our first tournaments, we found a lot of unbalanced cards by those players, and for the last tournament they're like pretty okay. We didn't have like overpowered cards.
So Do you have a favorite card in the set and why?
Oh, that's interesting. I think Helen the Beauty, because it's like one of those unique cards. It's a legendary card. When you play it, all your enemy units are exhausted. So she shows up and everyone is like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. And like, so yeah, I think that she is my favorite card.
So when does your game come out and what platforms will it be on?
We will be in early access on Steam in May, so in a month or so. But if you sign up on our website, you will be granted access before that, and you will get some nice in-game goodies. And then a couple of months after that, we'll be on mobile, probably in Q3, and then consoles and Nintendo Switch.
What do you think is the key to making just a good card game in general? We've seen like Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon basically withstand the test of time for decades, and then we see games like Artifact that seem to stumble and fall. What do you think is the key to a card game success?
Well, I think that Artifact is a different talk than everyone else. But the key factor is you should use existing IP or work with a famous IP. So that's why we work with Mythology, so everyone knows about Mythologies. This is one of the top factors to be relatable, recognizable. The other one, the game should be streamable, should be multi-platform. So Artifact, for example, was not gonna perform well probably on mobile. And this is like the top three things. Make it streamable, make it multi-platform, use existing IP.
Could your card game exist in the physical space one day?
Yeah, we hope so. So that's why we have like printed cards. I don't know if you can see them. We have many of those. Like 99% of the cards that we have can exist in the physical world. That was one of our goals.